Good morning. It is day 2. It is Sunday morning at about 9:15. Just stop my watch real quick. 9:15, I just hiked out of Goat Camp, which was a pretty nice camp. There was another guy there, Robert, who was there before me, who was doing some trail work. Really great story about that. I'll tell that later. And then a young couple showed up not too long after I did and set up camp. And then late last night, a pair of dudes came in pretty late. So it was pretty much a full house at Goat Camp. But now the weather's a little bit overcasty. I'll show you. A little bit overcasty. You can see the ocean from here. Someone said that it was supposed to rain, but these don't look like rain clouds. And even if they are, that sucks because I'm not prepared for rain. So overall, it's a pretty decent night. I got in about 3:30, as I mentioned earlier, and got some water, set up tent, and the bugs were insane. So many bugs out, to the point where my only retreat was to hang out in my tent, which wasn't half bad. I took a little snooze and then was back up around, I don't know, 5-ish. That's when people started coming out of their tents as well. So all of us, Robert and the couple, all had lunch together. Ooh, look at this. There's lots of flowers right here. So these are the poppies, and they haven't opened up yet. But once the sun comes out, this will be an awesome little area. This is cool. Got a lot of different color wildflowers. And again, it kind of sucks that the poppies aren't out. But you can imagine what this little stretch would look like. Not a bad view, I'd say. So from what Robert had mentioned, is that it's about a 5-mile hike. Wow, look at this. 5-mile hike to the next campsite, which I forgot what that was, and then 3 miles to Vicente, and then from Vicente 2.25 miles to the main road, and I would guess maybe another 3 miles to my car. So all in all, I'm probably looking at about an 11-mile day, which is on par with what I did yesterday. But hopefully here I won't get beat on by the sun like I did yesterday. So I think I'll be on the north side of all the ridges. So that's kind of cool. Overall, so far, pretty decent trip. And I don't know, I might do it again. Guess it kind of depends. Right, well, here's a little goalie, and then I'll turn her off. Goalie. See ya. Alright, so I've hit kind of an easy part here, so I'll tell a couple cool stories as I must die. So yesterday, I will say that hiking sticks are absolutely necessary, especially with people with bad knees or ankles. Yesterday on the trip down, very loose gravel, a lot of washouts, a lot of landslides, quite steep going down to Goat Camp. On more than one occasion, my sticks saved my life. But what I also pointed out, I didn't take a picture of it, and I'm kind of bummed, but in one of these open areas, not quite like this, but with a lot more rocks, there was probably a 5 to 6 foot snake kind of going crosswise of the trail. That's why I see it. It's maybe about, I don't know, inch, no, maybe 2 inches thick. It's a decent sized snake. Didn't see the tail, didn't see the head, didn't know which way it was up. So, naturally, I threw a rock at it. Didn't move. Threw another rock at it, didn't move. Snake was dead. Kind of an interesting area. I mean, initially I thought maybe it was placed there, but I don't know who would do that. So, with my two trusty sticks, I picked it up and tossed it off the side. So that was kind of a cool little thing. And then yesterday, we want to talk about how I met Robert. So coming down from the top of the ridge down into Goat Camp, it's a pretty steep climb and not a lot of switchbacks, which is very interesting. Just kind of went down. So at the bottom of that, there's a huge thicket, like almost like a bramble bush, where, you know, it was probably 10 feet high, and the trail literally is a path, kind of created within this bramble bush. So it's kind of creepy, you know, one of those enchanted forest type things. Anyhow, I get about 2 steps into it, and then all of a sudden I hear footsteps. Normally that wouldn't have been a problem, but the footsteps came from inside the brush. And they weren't 4-legged footsteps. You can easily tell those. They weren't a small animal. It was a large animal, and they took steps with 2 feet. So I'm thinking there is a human where humans shouldn't be. So needless to say, I got a little spooked. I'm purposely overpacking my my pack so that I can give kind of a good review of how the pack performed at about 35 pounds. So one of the items that I brought was kind of a hatchet, a battle axe. I don't know what to call it. I'll show you later. So that came out pretty quickly, actually. I stopped, I listened, you know, I'm on full alert, and nothing. So I'm taking small steps, looking around, kind of doing the whole 360, like where the hell am I? Where could this person be? Take a couple other steps, and all of a sudden I hear it again. I stop. The noise stops. I'm like, okay. So either I'm stopping to listen, or they're stopping to listen, or we're both stopping to listen. Anyhow, there's someone other than me out here that's not identifying themselves. Needless to say, I got out there pretty quick. I get down to Goat Camp, and it turns out that that other person was Robert. Nice little switchback, and I'm not using my stick, so I'm going slow. It was Robert. So Robert's like, "Hey, just so you know, that was me earlier." I'm like, "Oh, did you see me?" He's like, "No, I heard you." And he's like, "I stopped to hear, and there was nothing there, so I started again. Then I heard the noise again." So essentially, he did the exact same thing as I did. So he's a trail person, trail crew, I guess, unappointed trail crew. And he was actually looking for an alternate path through the bramble bush to create. So he brought this like old school wood-handled saw, clippers, big old clippers, and I was pretty impressed with the amount of gear this guy brought in. But apparently he comes out here for a few days and just does that, just does trail work, trims all the poison oak, which I found a lot of, and looks for alternate ways to get through things. So that was an interesting story, and a story that in any other part of the world may have ended differently, but not here in good old California, Los Padres National Forest, Ventana Wilderness. Not here, folks. Well, that's all I got. All right. So here's a fun fact. This area was fire ravished not too long ago, and a pretty good indicator of that are some of the trees that are still here with some charring. A little bit further up, there's actually a lot more burned trees kind of everywhere, which surprises me a little bit that we're allowed to have campfires. You do need a fire permit. That's kind of cool. Switch hands here. Sorry. Yeah, look at that. So you are allowed to have campfires. Do need a permit. There seemed like there was a campfire ring pretty much at every campsite. And then you also need a permit for your stove. Haven't seen any rangers that would be enforcing that, but that's really not the point, is it? You still need to do it. Because if everybody doesn't do it, then leave it to that one guy that leaves his campfire smoldering. And my big hand in the way. What's up? It's not big hand. Yeah, leave it to one dude to ruin it for everyone. So I have no idea where I am, but there's the ocean.